First few minutes in English, inshallah, and then we will continue in Urdu. The first thing that I was thinking of discussing today was a concept which is very much relevant to the munasbat of today, and the concept is of taqiyya. So, the first and foremost question is when to do taqiyya and when not to do taqiyya. Right? What's the usul? What's the principle? Where and when should we practice it, and when should we not practice it? First and foremost thing, how do we define taqiyya? Now, between Shia and our brothers, there's one major difference. So, their expectation is that everything as it is should be said irrespective of the circumstances. And we, Shias, we have a problem here. We don't agree with this. And it's, of course, and where does it root? We say that everything does not have to be said everywhere. You have to look at circumstances, and it has come from the Holy Quran. And the biggest example is of Mu'min Al Firaun. Quran says that he used to hide his eman. Remember this word, eman. Inshallah, it will be the next concept to discuss. He was hiding his eman. Why was he hiding? And this why has to be cooked. Why was he hiding? Right? And there is another thing which is known as Tawriya. Yusuf alayhi salam, when Binyamin, he wanted to keep Binyamin, there was a plan that he exercised. And he asked his brothers, what is the punishment of a thief? In other words, simple words. Who does this kind of an act, what is the punishment? Not saying that he has done it. Binyamin has done it. So that is another thing. Tawriya is a bit different. But taqiyya, basically. What is and why? So why was Mu'min Al Firaun doing this? The other example from Quran is Ashab Kahf. The companions of Kahf. Why were they practicing taqiyya? So the general understanding is that for Shias also, a lot of Shias, when we were young, we used to believe that saving our life is a responsibility. We do taqiyya to save our lives. That's a very basic level of understanding. Fine, that's okay. But there's a higher level of understanding which we get from people like Mu'min Al Firaun. Or our biggest example is Janab Abu Talib a.s. Ek dafa please recite a salawat. Don't say everything as it is. Look at Hazrat Abu Talib's life. And why was he doing it? He was the tribal chief of Bani Hashim. Right? He had all the strength that Bani Hashim had. It was at his disposal. So what was the point? Mawla Ali is not doing taqiyya, right? Mawla Ali is not hiding his iman. Why is Sarkar Abu Talib hiding his iman? Why? Same is when Imam Sajjad alayhi salam also gives this example. Please recite a salawat. When we are connecting with the Mu'min Al Firaun, what was he doing there? So he used to sit with the family amongst all the nobles of the throne, all the ministers Firaun had, and all the discussions that were going on there, he used to participate in them to know what is happening. It was important to remain one of them, to pretend as I am one of you. And why was he doing it? To gather all the information, and share it with Musa. Right? Second, whenever they were planning to kill Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, he would come with a certain, excuse or certain dalil or certain reasoning which will prevent them from killing him. And if he was not pretending to be one of them, he would not be sitting there and performing this noble task. So here is the problem with our brothers. We have this conceptual problem with them. No, we don't have to say everything as it is. You have to look at the circumstances. Looking at Janab Abu Talib alayhi salam, one of the major tasks that he had, one of the major tasks was to protect Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So where does the answer lie? Why should we practice taqiyyah and when? What is the answer to this question? Mu'min Ali Fir'aun is not doing for his life. That's one of the biggest things to note here. It's same Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala majjal faraj. As soon as Imam Ali got martyred and Imam Hassan alayhi salam took the caliphate, it was transferred to him. So I'm talking about the apparent caliphate, the vote bank caliphate. So what was he doing? Salaam alaikum Shaykh. Please recite a salawat. So he's saying, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the first thing he does is, I will continue the mission of my father to fight the ruler of Sham. We have to free Islam from this one person. That Imam Ali's mission was the same, I will continue it. He prepares, goes to the war and everything, what happened. And he had to sign a treaty. After that treaty, then he remains silent until this happens in 40-41 Hijrah, and he is silent for 10 years. And the same Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ajjal faraj. And this is very interesting, that because the first thing which comes to our minds is Karbala. A lot of people, when they think about Imam Hussain, the only things that come in their mind is Qiyam. And the only examples they quote is of Qiyam. In all circumstances, it is incumbent upon us, it is wajib upon us to do Qiyam. That's their tahleel, analysis of Karbala, Imam Hussain Seerah. And what about those 10 years that Imam Hussain was silent? When 10 years with Imam Hassan, from 40 to 50 Hijri. And from 50 Hijri to 60 Hijri, he was the Imam himself. He's silent. People are coming to him. We cannot stand this ruler of Syria. We have to stand against him. Imam is saying, silent. Be silent. We don't have to. Right now is not the time. Now is not the time. Why Imam Hussain is doing taqiyya? Again, why? Why? This is the time for taqiyya. Imam is teaching his, not for saving his own life. So where is the answer lying? Lines are lying. What is the need of Islam right now? If Islam wants me to remain alive, I will remain alive. If Islam wants me to attain martyrdom, to sacrifice everything, including a child like Ali Asghar, I will do that. The timing is very important to understand the circumstances. So for Hazrat Abu Talib a.s, it was not a problem. If Mawla Ali is doing it with whatever his age was, he was very young when this dawat came actually. He accepted without any fear. Abu Talib was his father, tribal chief with all this strength. Why was not? So if he would have said it, what I believe in, then Quraysh would not accept him as one of his own, right? So how would he exercise his tribal power? So in tribal norms, you have peace treaties with one another, right? But if you are not one of us, you are following a different religion, you have deviated from our path, then everyone can boycott you, which eventually they did, despite all the treaties and everything. But to remain in political power, to stand in front of Prophet like a mountain, right? It was important to pretend as if I am one of you. But there is no point in killing him. Let's think of something else. And it's a pity actually that we have to discuss all this. Where was Abu Talib a.s? Where was he? The facts are very, very mysterious. Anyways, so the answer to the question, this for youngsters, my young fellows, what is taqiyya? Taqiyya is a principle driven from the Holy Quran. We have examples like Ashab Kahf. Masood also quoted it, that his misal, his example is like that of Ashab Kahf. who used to hide their eman due to circumstances. Another very famous term that people use is Mu'min Quraysh. Compare it, relating it with Mu'min Ali Firaun, Mu'min Quraysh, who used to hide his iman. It's a principle based on Holy Quran. When to practice it? In the light of teaching, the noble teachings of Ahlul Bayt, we have to ask ourselves, what is needed at this time by Islam? What is Islam's requirement at this time? Should I remain alive? Or should to stand and openly and say openly things openly and do something which brings you in a spotlight, we are talking about that. Even that is, you have to see and analyze the circumstances. And then do ruju towards ulama, don't do ijtihad khalf. So then you will be able to get to the right decision. Please recite salawat.